Hello folks, L.A. Little here with TA Today. I'm going to give you some trading tips. Get your back against the wall. You know, in the Old West, gunslingers were quite famous, a lot of them, especially one by the name of Hitchcock, Wild Bill, for putting their back against the wall. They didn't want to be surprised, you know, by someone coming in and ambushing them. So anytime they went into a saloon or a public place, they would always want to sit where they were facing the door, their back was against the wall. Well, in trading, you want to do the same thing. You want to put your back against the wall. You don't want somebody coming in and ambushing you and taking your money. And so in trading, that's what you want to do. I want to show you how to do that, at least one example of it. So let's take an example here with the QQQs to begin with. And I'm going to blow this up so that you can see it. And I'm going to ask you, can we put our back against the wall here on a trade? Let's say that we wanted to buy it this morning. Could we put our back against the wall when it opened up this morning? Well, I don't know. Maybe if you're in a day trade and you're looking at a different chart, right? This daily chart, there's certainly not a back against the wall here. I mean, the best you've got is you've got a bearish retest regen going on. It had just entered into it. The fact that it's going into a bearish retest regen says that the probabilities favor it to do this, you know, and so that's really not your back against the wall. And so I don't see a scenario here where you can do that. But let's take an example of something that I pointed out to members on a retest regen. I wrote about it last evening in the trading channel and said, you know, here's a good setup. And I don't think I said put your back against the wall, but they all know by now what I'm talking about. This is the bullish retest regen along with this one. We were bearish here, right? Goes down, gets bearish again, and then flips around and goes bullish, meaning you broke two swing point highs. That spike up came with some decent volume. And then that says you got bullish retest regens now. This one right here, right? It's outlined. And this one inside here. When you get two bullish retest regens, more than likely you're going to hold, especially when you get a nice volume pickup like this. And so the fact that it was up here at these highs and then faded back in yesterday with a little doji, it suggested that we're probably going to see this thing try to regenerate higher, which is what it should do. And so I said, I wrote last night and I said, hey, this is a nice setup. You ought to take a look at it. I myself bought this. I bought a few thousand shares this morning. Where did I buy it? Well, I want to put my back against the wall. Where's the wall? Well, it's the bullish retest regens low there and here. The fact that we got two of them, you want to get as close as you can to that one. That price point, 710. I believe I had my order at 711 if I remember right. So I pick up those shares, it pushes down and then ends up pushing back up. So nice day trade if you want to make it that. You can stay in it for longer if you want. What was your risk? Where's your back against the wall? Well, your risk is the bottom of this guy. As a matter of fact, we probably really want to look at our risk in terms of the ATR. So it's 0.23. So you got to take about a quarter of that. So at least 6 cents, let's say. So 6 cents below this price point would give you about 6.89. And that low is at 6.85. So that looks like a pretty good spot. The low here is 6.97. So yeah, I think you put your stop right up underneath there, 6.88 or so. It shouldn't get there. It just should not get there, at least not immediately. And so you're putting your back against the wall because you're risking from, you know, in this case, 711 down to 688. You're risking pennies. And what are you going for? You're going for this swing point high and potentially the top, not the top, but yeah, there'd be a second test. Probably the top third of this. So somewhere around 8. So you're shooting for about 90 cents and you're risking, I don't know, 20 cents. pretty good reward, pretty good risk reward. That's setting yourself up for a good setup. Now, if you don't get it, you don't get it, right? In other words, if it doesn't give you the entry, it doesn't give you the entry. That's okay. There was another one that I talked about that didn't give me an entry today, didn't give me the retest, but this one did, and you get that trade. What's the issue here? Well, the issue is you need to be able to find these things, right? And I actually have something that allows you to do that. A retest regen. It goes and finds the first retest of any kind of a breakout, whether it's bullish or bearish. You set your time frame, you set your ATR value, what type of swing point you want. Well, I wanted a swing point high, and I generate the report. And so when I do that, it goes off and searches through the entire database and looks for any situation where you have that. And here's the first one it found, ADP. Let's see what this one looks like. When I blow it up here, has a same sort of setup. Here's a swing point low now. Now this is a little different setup. This one's actually going to break a swing point low to get back into the bullish retest regen. Now it's definitely been doing this and trying to turn, and now it's fading back in. This was a high volume, but that was options day. But it's still valuable to to use. And so this particular one, no, I'm not that interested. But you have lots of them to choose from. You don't have to take that one. There's gobs of them, and you can just go down through the list and flip through them. Matter of fact, I usually take, whenever I do this each day, I take and download it, throw it in here, grab all the symbols, right? Once I have them, I go over and I get my watch list, and let's just create a watch list here. And once I do that, once I have the watch list, right, I usually just have a temp watch list I throw this stuff into, remove everything that's in there, throw these in there, and now I can just flip through them all. I just show all charts and I start popping through them, and I see what I got. And so you can do this quickly, right, and find any situation you're looking for. And this one's on the daily, so I'm looking over here to see what it looks like. And you find a situation that you have the back against the wall. Like, look at this one. Here's an interesting one. So I flipped through 4 of them, and now I see this. Here's 2 swing point highs, so 2 retest regens. It's fading back into them. It's not extended. It's in a somewhat bullish sector. Yeah, I can deal with something like that. That's the setups you're looking for, folks. That's the way to put the odds in your favor. That's the way to get your back up against the wall. If you like what I do, leave some comments. Tell me what you want to see. I'll keep bringing these videos to you, hopefully teaching you how to better trade. Take care.